Hello and welcome to this vlog for the 59th auction here at Scotch Whisky Auctions. Big Peatrie back once again like a renegade master, not with the ill behaviour but with a fantastic selection of whiskies, and this is once again representative of the stunning range and quality of bottles that we have in this auction. We've got quite a few bottles behind me and quite a bit to talk about, so we're not going to waste any time and we're going to get stuck right in. First up, we have a Yamazakura, and this is bottled for their 250th anniversary. This is one of only 25 of only 100 bottles released in this beautiful handcrafted glass bottle. Fabulously innate bottle, and the amount of work that's gone into it is quite fantastic. They take a page in the notes just to explain about the bottle as well as the contents, how they've aged that from various ages of the distillates over the years, that it was aged in special casks that they got from Maker's Mark. Some lovely work that's gone into a very special bottle for a very special anniversary. Next up, we have another special bottle, and this is Crawford's Special Irish Whiskey. Now the whiskey that's spelt here is without an E, which is quite important because back in the day the Irish whiskey was spelt without an E, but then in 1879, with the rise of Scotch whisky using the patent still and the rise of blends, there was a published pamphlet which talked about the art of whiskey, and as a part of a protest, the Irish distillers started to use an E. It was adopted very piecemeal over the years. This one here has got the jib and cork, and we estimate to be around about the 1920s for this bottle, so a lovely piece of Irish history there. Now, I'm reliably informed that in the Outer Hebrides in North Uist, that spring has begun because the spring lambs are in. So what we've got here is a spring cap from Hague's. Now the reason I've mentioned this, we've seen quite a few of these spring caps, and we've got quite a lot in this auction. We've got Crawford's, we've got Black and White, we've got Hague's. These whiskies offer a chance, maybe not at the top end, to try the liquid history, the tastes of the past, but they give you a chance to taste what blends were like when they are still the dominant form in which most people drink their whiskey worldwide. And it's the way that whiskey began to spread and dominate the world was always through blended whiskey. So this gives you a chance to taste why that happened, why that domination came through. It wasn't just Philoroxera taking out the brandies, it wasn't just Prohibition and the temperance movement in Ireland that held back Irish whiskey. There's a good reason for that, and this is a really good way of testing this. This bottle here, this Hague's, probably we reckon from between 1952 and 1957 because it's got the white seal, and there was gold seals after 1957, and it says Mark Inch, which means it's post 1952. So a lovely bottle, a chance to try a taste of a whiskey of a style that went on to dominate the world. Talking about liquid history and art and the creation of things, simply my favourite piece of whiskey art that we've come across here at the auction, we've featured it before, we're going to feature it again, is this Sir Peter Blake. With whiskies from the 1930s up to the noughties or the 2000s. This takes you through the decades of Macallan and Sir Peter Blake's life, and these wonderful references to the Beatles. It's just, for me, just a beautiful, beautiful art object, the perfect melding of whiskey and art together. Really quite a wonderful, wonderful lot. Next up we have, you know, we're big suckers here for Cadenheads, and this is a Highland Park, and this was distilled in 1957. Bottle 23 years old in a really good fill level on these lovely dumpy bottles from Cadenheads that always do so well and are so well thought of by those who have been lucky enough to try them. Talking of lucky enough to try them, this was a bottle that was released of only 120. This is from the Ghost series, and this is the Hanyu. That was the first Japanese whiskey which was finished in grappa, Italian grappa casks. There was a particularly wonderful grappa that was drunk in Japan, and they used the cask at the end of that to bottle for bar keller. Now there was a way you could get, basically there was a cask in a wall, and you were able to draw off some of it. They were given 80 litres, enough to create 120 bottles, which was put into the Ghost series. So this is, again, a very, very rare whiskey. We've got through other Ghosts in this auction as well, such as the depth of quality that we have in this auction. So it's an absolutely lovely bottle of Japanese whiskey. Johnny Walker, talking again about the march of whiskey across the world. No blended whiskey has done as much to spread the word of Scotch whisky as Johnnie Walker with their striding man who has bestrode the world now for so many years, since the 1950s when it became the world's biggest selling blended whisky. This is a wonderful bottle. This is the second in the Master Blenders collection, and this is the Sir Alexander Walker. It's a very rare Johnnie Walker. It's only 600 bottles released. It has a 30-year-old age statement on it, which, as we all know, Johnnie Walker are not. There's not a lot of bottles out there over the age of 18 years that have age statements on this. So this is 30-year-old Johnnie Walker. One of only 600 bottles. It comes in a wonderful presentation case with a beautiful Art Deco decanter. It's a truly beautiful lot. And the reason we've chosen this, A, it's a beautiful lot. It's a stunning bottle in and of itself. But what we also have in this auction is we have two more of the Director's Blends, and we have two sets from Johnnie Walker House, one from Taiwan and one from Singapore, and some other really lovely Johnnie Walker, some old red labels, some old black labels. And that blend, again, is just a wonderful way to taste why Scotch has become the world's favourite premium spirit. So these wonderful distilleries, these art, the creation of the whisky, I'm feeling quite arty, quite philosophical about whisky for this auction, because it's a wonderful way of... Ralphie talks about the amber glow and the art of whisky, the art of distillation, and that's what we really have in this auction. Some really wonderful bottles. It was a real difficulty choosing the bottles for this because we've got so many great bottles in. Before I get too all misty-eyed and a wee bit carried away with myself, we have this lovely Glenfiddich from 1955. Glenfiddich, the first people to bottle and really actively sell their single malt, as a brand. And this beautiful bottle from distilled in 1955, bottled at 52.6%. Most Glenfiddich that you'll come across, it comes in their iconic triangular bottle. You'll see it, the 15, the wonderful Solera 15-year-old, 18 in the whip. But this is a chance to try a very unique way of looking at the distillery, and that's what we're trying to look at for this auction. A way of looking at whisky, of Scotch, or Japanese whisky, but looking at it from a slightly different angle. A chance to let you taste distilleries and styles and blends that you haven't tried before. As always, please get in, have a look around. It's a lovely, lovely auction with some really wonderful bottles in there. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy yourselves, and remember, don't lose your bottle.